People of the internet, Theo Vaughn ends his MAGA era as he tries to dodge accountability. And today, we are going to witness that, right, Meow?
Yeah, people always want to be in a war. People always like, man, I wish I had something that was like a challenge in the world. It's like we are in a fight of good and evil.
We are.
And it's not to say that any of us are perfect or that we don't all have mistakes or things that we wish we had done or not done. But overall, it does feel like this is like a video game of good versus evil. And you have to start to see that like you're a player in it. One thing
this is why you're so effective. This is why, you know, at some point people may try to make you be quiet, is because you approach all of this with humility, which is one of the hallmarks of good, in my opinion. Like almost every sentence you begin on this topic begins with, I'm no one to judge and I'm not, you know, that is the posture. Humility is the posture. And one thing you notice about evil is its certainty, is its judgmental, condemnatory quality. You know, Mark Levin, you're evil, you're fascist, anti-Semite, Nazi, Islamist, whatever. Its mirror image is what you just showed, which is, you know, we're all kind of screwed up, but we're trying to get to the truth. Like that's the approach. That's the posture. That's the way to tell the truth.
I think it's what most people.
You know, I have a hard time believing Theo Vaughn is telling the truth or better yet, being honest, because it just feels a little bit weird to me that a couple weeks ago, we all saw Theo Vaughn on Joe Rogan. He was paranoid. He was looking around like someone was going to get him. Like he looked like he was going to have a mental breakdown, this, that, and the other. And now he's up here all nice and calm, right? When a couple weeks ago, he was tripping out about the government, these corporations, politics, what he may or may not have done by, you know, promoting the whole Trump train and all of that. And he looked like he was going to have a serious breakdown. And now he's here, sitting here, after all that paranoia about the government and politics and being involved with politicians, he's sitting across one of the biggest, most, what's the best way to say it? A target on his back, political commentators in America. You know, so your solution to getting away from politics, having less paranoia, not being involved in this, and making everybody think you need help because it's so bad, is to put this giant political figure that has a lot of people mad at him. You know, he's super polarizing. I mean, it doesn't make sense. If I was feeling that crazy, I would get as far away from it. And I think a couple things could happen. The powers that be came down and said, you better get your act together. Don't you ever go on the Joe Rogan show and mention Peter Thiel again. How dare you? He got the old Greta Thunberg. How dare you? And now he's just sitting here like a robot. Or he was lying. You know? I just don't feel honest because if you're scared about politics and politician and the government, like Tucker Carlson is probably not somebody you want to have on. And this has nothing to do whether you support Tucker or you don't like Tucker. I'm not even talking about that. He's just in the water that you shouldn't be swimming in. And that you all tried to make us feel like, oh my God, Theo, what's wrong? I'm just having less and less belief in old Theo. You don't say you're scared of the water with all the sharks in it and then jump right in it, you know, with big old stakes tied around your body. That's what he's doing having Tucker on. Like, you know, it's just, you're just going right back in. And I find it hard to believe anything Theo's saying.
People are doing. That's what most people are trying. You know, I feel like
that's truly honest. Like, I've been wrong about so much. Am I really going to stand up and be like, I'm positive this is like, no, I'm doing the best I can. That's the only honest way to approach it.
When especially like as a country, when you're paying into taxes and you're showing up to vote and you're trying to help your neighbor and you're trying to follow the rules and do the best that you can, you at a certain point, that's like you're giving into something as a group, that you're like giving into something like, this is how we believe that we should behave and that it best suits us moving forward. And then when it's really started to just feel, and I think it's kind of obvious at this point, that the higher ups are not working for us anymore. They're not working with us. And that's what I think has become the most evident in the past year, especially, is that people are like, oh, no matter who we elect, on which side, whatever it is, it's all this sort of shell game, and we're finally starting to see some of it. And I thought it was interesting that
I mean, I agree with Theo Von, and I think like it's a game that we're not involved in, and we will never know the exact details. But it's not about us; it's about them, and they get to decide for us. But anyways, beyond that, it just seems like Theo's just saying what people want to hear, and he's dodging accountability, because the thing you have to realize, and like my belief, is it's not just America, but I think power, especially the people in power that run our world, run our governments, run the big corporations, it is absolutely batshit crazy now. We're seeing it in our government. We're seeing in what these corporations are doing. We are just seeing massive abuse of the system, corruption, humanity, people. We are just seeing the wildest. Like, I was thinking about it the other day, and I was like, I used to read all these sci-fi dystopian novels when I was younger, and like the technology in those things is coming out. Like the things they said were going to happen. And it's like people knew what people would do in the future when technology caught up. And like you see the same shit, they're building fucking war. I saw this thing the other day. They're building like a war machine robot that a person, like a mech, like a fucking mech warrior. They've got like fucking drones flying all over the place, surveilling us. They have satellites. Like, bro, we're living in fucking sci-fi novel. And I don't want to be alive for this part. This part of scares you. Technology, it seems great until we wake up in this moment and you're like, holy shit. I don't even know what I was talking about. Because that technology thing, the sci-fi novel shit got me tripped out. But Theo, right? Theo, what can you say about this guy? He's so freaked out, but it's like you're the one that helped that guy get there. You're the one that's why you don't go into politics. And it's not like it's like we hear this story all the time. If you get into politics, you already sold out. Because nobody's ever been super righteous. And I know people's going to say some man. I'm not even going to go there because people can get mad at me. But I just don't know how you can be a politician and not be sold out. Because we can all look at the voting records. And they all change. And it's just crazy. It's crazy that Theo now he's trying to act like, oh, the government's bad, all this shit. It's like, bro, it's just hard for you to believe when you were saying something a couple weeks ago, and then a couple weeks before that, you were saying something else.
Working for us is the kind of the most benign description. Like not working for you, that's just indifference. That's abandonment. That's when your parents like go on vacation and don't come home. What's happening to us is having like a creepy stepfather. Like I actually think there's malicious intent here.
But how could so many politicians and stuff get compromised? That's what I don't understand. Wouldn't there be more people that stood up and said, hey, this isn't right? Like I that's what I find hard to believe.
Well,
I'll tell you why. Because the system isn't built on morals and values and what's right or wrong. It's built on corruption and greed. So you attract people that don't mind participating in corruption and greed. The system is only attracting what it actually is. It's a filthy, dirty fucking system, and it attracts those type of people.
Because they all made the deal, and all of them make the deal, and the deal is not always explicit. And the deal, everyone thinks it's about sexual blackmail, which is totally real. All the porn sites are visible. Like, go to a porn site, people know exactly what you're looking at. And there's a video of you looking at it. It's just a fact. And okay, so there's that.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are secretly gay. Of course, we know that. But I don't think, and have drinking problems or cheating their wives or whatever.
Is that enough to keep people?
No, I think it's actually deeper than that. It's not enough. It's not enough. Like the obvious ones, like, why is Lindsey Graham for this or that war? It's like, okay, yeah, I got it. But
if you're trying to slurp on little fellas or whatever, or you're jacking off to like, butt activity or whatever, like, does that like, I mean, definitely
slurping on little fellas.
I mean, pedophile is bad.
Is Theo asking for himself or a friend here, guys? What's going on?
It is not good at all. It's horrible, right? But if you're just like looking at I'm just like,
that's not the answer though. That's not. Most of them are not being sexually blackmailed. Some are. I mean, I think the Epstein thing was probably that to some extent. But no, it's much deeper and more recognizable and part of our daily life than that. It's much more insidious than that because it's less dramatic than that. It's the deal that we all make with ourselves to get what we want. Like, I want to be powerful. I want to get reelected. I want to get rich. I want to bang that girl. And you make these compromises with yourself in which you consciously decide to be dishonest. You decide, in some cases, violent. That is true. Or whatever.
How do they get so many people though? Because like you look at some of these
system itself is that like you get in order to get elected, I have to do the following things. I have to basically subvert democracy by carrying water for a tiny group of people against the interests of my actual voters. Like that itself is a sin. It's a crime, but it's so ubiquitous you don't even notice it. It's
it's kind of crazy. I think the world is as far as power, governance, and such shit like that, I think it's just absolutely rotten. And I guess the best way to describe it is it's just shameless now. It no longer has tact. It no longer tries to go to behind your back or cover up. It is just politicians are out of control. Leaders, corporation owners, these board members are all fucking psycho. And it's kind of crazy because Theo Von's coming to a point, or at least he's trying to make people believe. I'm just not sure about Theo Von. But if I take him at face value, he's coming to the point that he doesn't trust the government. Tucker Carlson here doesn't trust the government. And if you look at people on the left, people on the right, everyone is coming to the same point that we shouldn't trust the government. I almost think what Trump perceived as his power or his ace card is being blunt, just doing what he wants, shocking, all this kind of thing that helped him early on has now like backfired in his face and has turned people against him because everybody didn't mind the theatrics, but now in this present day and age, and after COVID and the economy is in the tank, groceries are up. After a year, they're up. The cost of living per person is up 71% since this time last year. And people are just like, fuck this. It's almost like Trump overplayed his hand with the theatrics and with making fun of people and the social media thing. Because people are just worn out. Point being is all sides. Maybe this will be the thing that brings people together, is a distrust in the government. Because it seems that if you're on the right or on the left, everybody's coming to the conclusion now, or at least I think everybody should have been almost to the conclusion, but at least it's publicly being spoken, which I think is, hey, life's about compromises, and I have to compromise here. I think both right and left fucking finally realizing that is good. Because the power needs to go back to the people. And we got to find some way to work together because they've had us working against each other while they do whatever the fuck they want. I mean, we're going to have to, if we want humanity to be at least somewhat civil, we're going to have to like come together somehow.
Deals like that. I'm going to take money from a foreign lobby that somehow isn't registered as a foreign lobby or whatever. I'll support this thing that I think is probably pretty wrong, but I'm going to do it because I have to. Mm-hmm. It's those kind of moral compromises that wind up making people slaves. And that's what they are. They're slaves. Mm-hmm. We have hundreds of slaves, otherwise known as members of Congress. And what are they slaves to? Evil. Because they've made these compromises in order to get what they think is the prize, which is re-election.
It's a crazy movie.
It's real though, man.
I know, that's a crazy.
But it's
Theo made that compromise. This is such a drastic change. I mean, you notice the little things, right? And it's not that little. Theo Von was like living on the edge, and now he's just like it never happened. Something doesn't seem right.
All of us have made that deal. That's why it's so important to reframe it in your head. It's not just some freak on Pedo Island, banging a child and then, they have him by the balls because they have videotape of him. No, it's all of us. If I just do this thing, it's worth it, man. It's for the greater good. It's for my family. It's for, you hear this every election season.
Right. I need a vote.
I don't want to vote for the shithead, but we need to control the Congress. What is that? You're making a deal with the devil, dude.
You have to understand from like people's perspective, and then what the powers that be, try to put down onto people. The people in control have made the like selling yourself deal the best option. If you sell yourself and you play along and you turn a blind eye when you have to, you will make money. Your dreams will come true. You can, you could be very rich. You'll have an easy path. People won't. And what those in power have also done is doing the right moral, good thing that they all preach when the cameras are on, right? To be the bad deal. Because when you stick up for people, when you don't lie, when you don't steal, when you don't play along because it's wrong, then you don't get the promotions, you don't get the jobs. And if you do want to get those things, you have to go the extra mile. You get talked about. Even if you don't get involved in drama, if you just want to go to work and do your job, that's not enough. So they've incentivized people to take the shitty path. That's why everyone's doing it. It's everywhere. The shitty path is everywhere. It's in your house. It's in your neighborhood. It's at your job. It's at all the places you visit. We've all been taught, whether we want to admit it or not, that the shitty deal is the right deal. That's why people are silent. That's why because they make people afraid. Look what they do to whistleblowers. They write a whistleblower law saying it's okay to promote wrongdoing, and then they arrest you as soon as you do it. Even with the evidence. It's crazy, right? We're incentivized to make shitty deals.
With the devil. That's what that is. Bow down before me and all of this will be yours. That's the deal. Don't make that deal. Because you lose yourself, you lose your freedom. All of a sudden, you're a slave. And you see these politicians, they're like, oh, no, it's not. No, there are good reasons for doing this. No, really. What is that? It's not a free man. That's an enslaved man. And the people who are free because they exude this kind of peace and joy. And they're like, no, I don't care. I'll say whatever I think is true. You can shoot me. Go ahead and shoot me. It's not going to change anything because you're lying and I'm not.
Right.
I have to admit, being free or not picking a side, it's hard because you'll be criticized when you don't pick a side. You'll have the hard path I was just talking about, how everything instantly becomes harder for you. That'll be something. And to do to do what a regular person that plays along, you often have to be 10 times more talented and undeniable to break through as someone just trying to do their job or whatever, right? You have to oftentimes be far ahead of the regular person just because you don't play along and you don't pick a side. You have peace with yourself, and the biggest thing is like you don't want to sell yourself out and give that piece away. He's right. You do lose yourself, and you don't want to. And I think Theo Von, like, look at his face. He's looking at him. He knows he did that this past election. I haven't looked into anything else, but for sure this past election, he did that. And he sold out to politics. As a fucking comedian, he sold out to politics. And I don't know what they got him on to make him seem like to instantly, in like 2 weeks, that shit's all gone. Or was it like a week and a half ago? And it's just like all of a sudden changed. They must have some crazy shit. When they got you, they must have some crazy shit. Like they called that the get right gel. Whenever you get out of line, whenever you feel like you're going to break, they're like, go get the get right gel, and they lather you up and just come out like a Ken doll. Just shit's crazy, man. We're like watching. What if Theo Von is part of some like experiment, like the shit they did in the 60s, and this is just like they were just lathering up with get right gel. Can we just control this guy with all this gel? But seriously, he could be. I mean, I don't want to, I don't go down into the conspiracy rabbit hole. A lot of conspiracies, they made that word so they can cover shit up. Some are real, some aren't, but I think Theo's a lab experiment at this point. He's just all over the place.
It's freedom versus slavery, and we put ourselves in slavery with that deal.
Well, the pain of holding on to like lies and stuff like that.
Yes.
And shame and stuff like that. It's really,
Theo's just looking up like he's remembering.
We all live that? You've lived that, right?
For sure.
Yes. Well, that's why.
Man, he asked a great question right there. He just hit it. I thought he was being sarcastic, but I have to remember, right? Watching all these different things, like, it's just crazy. People don't believe Theo or the rogansphere did anything wrong. And there could be an argument for it, but the part where it gets wrong is they sold out their people. They lied to them. They gave them misinformation about a lot of stuff. And they did it in service of, the people that paid them. And they didn't even tell us. They just slowly started putting it into their shows. And next thing you know, the president elects, the people running for president are up there. And they're just comedians. This is what's so bizarre. If you don't believe the world is run by stupid people, comedians are running our media propaganda machine right now. Can you believe that? And it's not a bash on comedians. It's just like what you wouldn't say. Let me rephrase that, because comedians might be able to take the piss out of everything, but let me phrase it. We have dumbass people that are comedians running the country. Okay, feel better about that statement. I didn't want to offend you, comedian people. Unless you're in Austin and you have some skinny white ankles and you keep putting that shit on a podcast, then I was talking to you.
Getting sober is so liberating, not just because you're not on drugs or alcohol, which is itself liberating, but because you admit what you did. And then you're like, oh man, I admitted I was a cokehead, or I drank vodka in the morning. In my case, it's like, it's pretty fucking embarrassing. But once you admit it, it's like,
I was putting Alps in my butt. Yeah.
No, it's Zyn.
Sorry.
Alp is oral use only.
Alps for the front.
It's the pouch for your mouth.
Oh, I like that. Yeah. Alps for the front. They should say for the front on them. They should have a special.
We may do that. We're going to get that hat because we already have.
We're going to stop it there because the next part I heard wasn't safe for audiences. But it's just crazy how Theo Von is. I don't know if he's being guided, if he's being directed, if he's being told, or he's just trying to escape the deep, dark waters that he decided to dip his toe in, and then it swallowed him whole. And there's a giant ass shark, and dude, that shark. You know what I learned today though? Made me feel a little bit safer. There could be a way to keep sharks away from you, because there was a recent study that when people wore these like blue LED things, I don't know what the device looked like, but they put these blue LED lights on their body and it kept the sharks away. Isn't it crazy? That big, powerful beast, and all you needed was a little tiny, not very powerful, energy efficient blue LED light bulb. Isn't that great? Something so small. That's wild, right? Something so small can change the whole situation. And when a lot of those small things come together, like the blue LED lights, they can change big things. Hopefully someday people will stand up and be the little LED light bulb. Change this fucking shit show. Let me know what you think in the comments. Peace.